Prakash Diwan, I think, is with us. Maybe we can go across to him for a quick word. Prakash, how would you look at the listing and what from here?
Good morning, Prashant. So I think the listing is definitely far better than what personally I had anticipated. There was a little bit of that softness that was expected given the large float and the response that it got in the IPO. But, I do agree this is going to be a bellwether name in that sense. For anybody who wants to have an allocation directly into the EV space, I don't think there's any better bet than this in terms of composition. But remember, it's just about a few percentages of the overall two-wheeler market. As Sonia said, 5%. I thought my number was about 3.5, and out of which they have a lion's share. So it's still a very small, percentage in terms of the overall scheme of things. But as you rightly said, EV is likely to be here. By the way, China has got 51% new vehicle registrations come from EVs last month. So that's the kind of change we are moving towards, hopefully. So great name, good setup, everything's fine, but very, very difficult to kind of sustain growth at these rates in this business. So I would like to look at this once it turns profitable. And there's still a long way to go for that. So, wait for that, because we've done that mistake in some of these new age companies as well. This is not new age in that sense, but in terms of behavior, it could be very similar to all the Zomatos and Paytms and Nykas and deliveries of the world.
In this space, how are you feeling about the, Ola versus the other players? Because, I mean, it's not an apples to apples comparison because the others have IC engines as well, TVS and Bajaj. But they're picking up too. Bajaj Chetak has been doing pretty well. TVS, of course, as we know, has, cracked the code in this electric space. So if you had to choose, what would your pecking order look like now?
No, Sonia, that's a very valid question. Just because Ola has got listed doesn't mean that you need to kind of load up. TVS Motors has been probably the most balanced in terms of when it comes to ICE and EVs. And remember, all of them, whether it's TVS, whether it's Ather through Hero through Ather, or whether it's Bajaj, they have a huge distribution setup, which is going to be extremely difficult for Ola to compete with. Right now, the novelty value is superseded anything else. But at some point in time, I think TVS and Bajaj will also start scoring very well on the EV. So as Bhavik said, they've learned from the mistakes that TVS made. Somebody else will learn from Ola's mistakes as well, right? So this is an evolution which is fairly evident and rapid. I would believe TVS would probably be far better placed in that sense from a more equilibrium balanced kind of a allocation rather than Ola. This is probably fancy on the listing side, so there will be some takers who want it, but I don't know how long this sustains.
Okay, thanks a lot for that. So that's Ola Electric, decent listing there, 6% higher now on the stock at 80 rupees currently. You will of course keep hearing more about this listing over the course of the next few days, but the debutant Ola Electric now 6% higher. Let's